let's go straight to questions. Open it up.
Stay topical here after we just had GM Ned Grabavoy talk to us. Your thoughts on what was a very busy and seemingly productive window?
Yeah, I think we're really pleased with the work we've done. We had certain criteria that we wanted, criteria in terms of profile, characters, and types of players we wanted. I think we worked really hard in the off season. I think it was there was a lot of good work done by a lot of good people. And looking at the roster we've got at this moment in time, I think we're pleased with the players we've brought in.
Hey Phil, first time we've gotten to talk to you since the club acquired Omir Fernandez. Just what did you like about him as a player, and what do you envision as his role moving forward?
Yeah, I liked him when he was at Red Bulls, when I was into Miami. Really liked him when he went to Colorado. Could see there's obviously a connection there with Chris and Colorado and the Red Bulls. We've been looking for a certain type of player. You remember at the start of the season when we didn't have Santi and Acosta, and we missed that type of connector pocket player, and I think we were looking for that type, and I think he was definitely the best that was available. I thought he was good, and then when he's come in, he's totally blown me away with his quality, and he's going to be a real competitor for a starting 11 place. I've got to say that his quality, his understanding, his character, he knows the MLS, he knows football, he knows positions, he can play in 3 or 4 different positions, 7, 10, 11, 8, and I think he's going to be absolutely vital for us.
And then we know Anthony had to go off with the injury. Just any update on his status?
Okay.
This game, although the Galaxy haven't won any of their 9 games to start the season, is there still a little bit of like fear and trepidation having to go to Dignity Health Sports Park and still play the MLS Cup champions, even though their recent form has been anything but title worthy?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously had a difficult start to the season, but I think we know that it's going to be a really difficult game. They've got the majority of their players back now after a difficult start with injuries. They obviously had the CONCACAF to deal with. They lost some key components through injury and obviously through leaving the club. But I've watched them in the last 3 or 4 games, and I see a team that's not playing to the level that the results I think have brought. I think they're playing to a better level than that, and I think they've deserved a lot out of games. The Orlando game, they probably deserved to win the game. The Houston game with the sending off, they were dominating the game. So I think they're a really good team with an outstanding manager. I always think that this game is one of the games that everyone should look forward to. Playing the 2 LA teams in the space of 7 days is exciting, and we know it's going to be a really tough game. There's no easy games in this league, and I think I'm sure they'll be approaching this game with the total mindset that this is going to be the game where they get their first W. But we're full of confidence, we're full of belief, we're full of energy. We're excited about going to play another road game where we've played some of our best football away from home, and I'd say the most difficult thing will be to select the team. We've got 22 players now that are all wanted to start, and I think every week it causes me a lot of problems, and they're brilliant problems to have.
Coach, you just talked about, the 22 players. It's hard to select that. How much fun is it to coach this team, having so much depth and being so deep in the roster?
Yeah, I mean, if I take my mind back to last season, and you're doing tactics on a field, and there is normally one team that's far stronger than the other team, and the scrimmages, the inter-house games, become a little bit one-sided. And I've got to say is that this moment in time, there's nothing to choose between both teams that we're playing. We played an 11v11 on Wednesday, and it was high level. Both teams could play in the MLS. Both teams could compete in the MLS. Both sets of players are competing for places. And I'd say that there's been a majority of players that I've selected pretty consistently so far this season. They're under real pressure now, because those coming from below are performing at a really high level, and they deserve to get an opportunity. So over the next 4 to 5 weeks, they will get that opportunity.
Seems like all four of your midfielders who have gotten a chance this year all kind of have a little bit of a different skill set. João Ortiz is somebody coming from below, pushing for that starting spot.
Yeah.
What does he do best as a center midfielder, and when he's in the game, how does he best impact it?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at the game against Austin, there was some really good moments where he broke up play. He carries the ball really well. I think his range of passing is underestimated. That was one thing that we scouted. You know, his range of passing to play through lines and forward is different to the midfield players that we've got. And you know, João's going to play a big part for this football club. We believe in him a lot, and you know, I think there'll be good opportunities for him in the next month.
Phil, I had two. One is you already talked about playing the LA teams and playing the Galaxy being the champions. But they're winless. Is there any part of the message to the players? We cannot be the one that they step in to start their season.
Well, we had this with Kansas, and then Kansas won the game before we played them, and that I've got to say that was a bit of a relief, you know, because it becomes a more dangerous game. It becomes a banana skin game. It becomes a game where you don't want to be that team. But you know, LA Galaxy will win games of football. They will be in the playoffs at the end of the season. You know that because they've got quality players. I think the focus from us has been about improving on what we saw last week. There was a couple of instances, there was a couple of things that we wanted to improve on. And then there's a challenge every single week. I said before the game last week, is that this is going to be a real barometer of where I see my team, and it was. And this is another one. Going away to LA Galaxy at any point of any season is always going to be difficult. And Sunday is going to be another one of those great games. I think last year it was. I know what you think about. We scored 6 goals against them. They scored what? They scored 6 goals against us. I think 4-2 and 3-2. You know that it's just got goals written all over it, and we've got to make sure that we're performing at our absolute best. We've got to make sure that our players are rising to every occasion, and we're going to be playing against some players that have played on the biggest stage, and we're going to have to match that and deal with that.
This one is looking more for your broad opinion on the game inside the field. The team looks more confident with the ball right now, keeping the ball and keeping the possession. Does has something to do with having a real column of lefties with like Pantemis, Kamal, David?
Yeah, I mean, left-footed players always appear. I always think they look pretty sexy, don't they? Left-footed players when they're on the ball. I know it's strange, but they do. They look different. But I'd say that the one thing we've got is with Kamal, Ayala, Kelsey, even, you know, is that, you know, we can break out both sides and have real balance on both sides. I think I always think that having a left-footed centre back gives you the foundation to be able to build both sides with real balance. So I think yes, it's a really good point. But yeah, it's a good point.